Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Shift your mind and raise the consciousness type of shit. I am Christy.
And I am Mia. And you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Okay, so.
Ooh, we have so much to talk about today.
Y'all, life be life, right? Okay, so real quick, last week we talked about timelines. And how to, and we talked about the importance of being conscious about choosing the timeline with which you want to experience your life, and that you do have the power to choose that timeline, and mostly off of vibrating at the level of the life that you want to experience will help you shift into that timeline. And then collectively, the fact that this is the time to choose your timeline energetically.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, you always have the ability to do so. However, energetically on a collective level is juicy and ripe for you to choose. So stay conscious of your energy and keep the vision of the life that you want to live, because there is a version of you that is living that life. And that's what we're saying. Choose that timeline. So what are we talking about this week, y'all?
Okay, so this week we are talking about trusting your spiritual aptitude, which is your natural spiritual ability. So, I mean, we can call this your intuition. Some people call it like prophetic. I mean, whatever it is for you. It is tapping into that knowing, that inner knowing that we all have access to. And so I'm really excited to talk about this because, some of us, we are forgetting that we have this inner navigation system and guidance system. And it's time for us to really tap into it and trust it.
We talk about, you'll often hear people speak about when they've made a decision and it's against what they felt. And then when something comes and they're like, I knew it.
Been there.
What?
Been
okay,
there.
For real. President of the I freaking knew it club.
Vice president.
Okay. So guys, you know how something happens and you got this gut feeling. And you're just like, man. But then you will find a way to, and I'm air quoting, reason or logic yourself out of it. Because, based on so many factors, the external factors, you'll start kind of putting this, it doesn't make sense based on all these external factors. So we're talking about trusting your own, your natural spiritual ability. We're talking about trusting yourself, that thing that you know, that you feel.
That you know.
That you know, but because you can't put an external factor in that equation, you start, man, I can't even tell you how many times I have said to myself before, man, I'm tripping. That's not, And then I start to reason myself out of it.
But see, I feel like society has made it that way so that we're not learning to lean on our own aptitudes, but really leaning on third parties for trusting and for these sources or resources that are supposed to be sources of truth. We hold that truth for ourselves, and we just have to get to a point where we're trusting in ourselves and knowing.
Well, think about it.
We don't have to trust anything outside of ourselves.
If society encourages people to be free thinking and trust
loose,
right, thank you, to trust yourself, then there's a lot of things that we would not do, that people would not do. And mind you, I've worked in marketing and advertising for years, but I'm telling you, if people trust themselves and knew what it is they wanted and needed and desired in their life based on their own spiritual and natural ability, advertising wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't be effective.
Yeah.
Because basically what that is creating a desire in you that you didn't even know you want. Right.
You want this right here. It's so shiny.
I want that. Okay, because someone has created that for you.
Okay, so now I have a question for you. So when did you get to a point or to a space where you were able to trust in your own aptitudes?
I would say I think it's a still an ongoing process, but it's
for me too.
I could definitely say it's a much further along, and I can see and tell the difference. But you know, you guys, I talk about this. You know, what my lessons often come with the slap. So it's almost, for me, it was, I tried everything else. I did it the way y'all said I should. I followed the rules, and I do not like this. I do not like how this feels. So it's almost like I got to the point, I don't have shit to lose. Well, come on. I'm keeping it real funky. Like, what? And then when I started to, it's almost like you're just like, okay, what else you know what? I haven't tried this. I haven't tried trusting me. So let's just see what happens.
Let me try something different.
Let me try something different.
And put the trust in myself. How crazy does that sound?
Doesn't that sound crazy? Thinking back in hindsight, when I think about that, I'm like, wow, the fact that it was a risk for me to trust myself says so much about just life and what I was experiencing. Right. But I also believe that all of those type of experiences where I've decided not to trust myself, where I ultimately had to just say, what the hell do I have to lose by trusting and loving on me, has made it so that trust now and me, I earned that.
Yeah. No, I feel
they can't like. Now it's like I really don't care what anyone else, or it's not even anyone. It's just
because I think
anything it has to say. You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't jive, if it doesn't feel good, I'm out.
Because I feel like the past episodes that we've been talking about, a lot of it has been going back to self and like really trusting in ourselves and believing in ourselves and listening to our inner voice. But it's again, I feel like it's set up that way for us to always have this reliance on this third party or this other party outside of ourselves. But once you start doing the work, you realize everything that you need is within inside. It's inside you. So there's no need to even look outside of yourself. Even trusting, it's like, you know what? Like Mia said, I done tried everything. Let me do something a little different. You know what?
I mean, think about it.
I'm gonna shoot my shot with myself.
I'm gonna shoot. I like that, Christy. I'm gonna shoot my shot with myself. So think about it, you guys. Like, there are so many things in life that we are willing to take a risk on.
Yeah.
That have been motivated or created externally. So what does it look like if you say, let me just take a risk on myself? Try it. And that doesn't mean that every time it's going to turn out exactly how you want. But how can I say this? It may not turn out exactly how you want, but it'll always turn out for your highest good when you trust yourself. That I can promise you.
Right. No, that's true.
You know what I mean? And when we release and surrender to, and I say this all the time to myself when I feel like, hell, I'm saying it now. When I feel like, okay, I put myself out there. I'm traveling the road and trusting in myself, and it's not necessarily going, and it may not go the way and the timing. So I just have to keep reminding myself, because I trust myself. I don't know how. I don't know when, but I know that it is. Period. And so when you have to keep making steps forward and speaking it into existence, and it's almost like as soon as I feel like, forget it, I'll just, as soon as you start to feel like, forget it, I'll just go back to, what everyone else is doing or thinking or believing. It's almost like you can't even do that once you've gone so far. It's like, I'm so far on this road. What you want me to do? I have gone 95 miles on a 100-mile hike, and I can't take it anymore. You're going to walk 95 miles. No, you can't. So
let's talk about
don't give up.
Yeah, do not give up.
Don't give up.
I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of this work is a continual thing. We are continuing breaking down the programs that have been passed down to us over our lifetime. And I feel like we're constantly like pushing ourselves out of this, like, you have to fit in this box. It's like, no, this is not where I fit. I fit wherever I need to be
at that time, in
Right.
that moment, in that space.
and I'm gonna mold into whatever I need to mold into. But I feel like this is just, we're constantly working and working because
Well, as long as you're breathing.
that's true.
I am what I am, what I need to be when I need to be it.
There you go.
So wait, so same question to you. When do you feel like you were able to, when did you start trusting yourself more?
It's taken some time, and it's still a continuous, not fight, but it's still a continuous challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than what it was before. It's not, I mean, of course, it's not like absolute or perfect.
Hey,
but
acknowledge the progress.
it's practice.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
it's almost like, okay,
Yes.
you know what? I tried everything else. Let me just try this. It's like an experiment. It's like a spiritual experiment. It's like, okay, well, if I do this and that's not the outcome, well, maybe I should try this, and maybe the outcome will be a different way. And that's kind of the beauty of it all. You
Yeah.
figure out where your boundaries are, and you just keep trying until you figure out what works for you. Try and trust.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about spiritual aptitude. So how would you, we talk about this as your intuition. So some people feel this differently.
Okay. When I think about intuition, and I also, okay, let's break down intuition.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I think about intuition is that God voice.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on. So it's not something outside of me that is God saying, Mia, do this.
Mm-hmm.
It is more of an energetic pull. I can feel when I'm working or talking or speaking or doing outside of my God self.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a nudge. It's a knowing. That claircognizance is like, I know that I know. I can't tell you how I know. And at the end of the day, when we get caught up we get caught up in feeling like we have to be able to explain or show or even prove to ourselves how we know something. That's not trusting your intuition. Trusting your intuition is, I know it because it's me. It's my life. It's my decision. It's my vibration. It's my frequency. So I know it.
And
so
your
what is
choice.
that inner? Thank you. So you have a choice. You can choose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready to go there yet. So I'm going to go with, something that makes sense to me. And I mean, we can out logic ourselves. We can be so smart that we're too smart for our own good, because then we don't trust ourselves.
Yes.
So when I think about, that's what I'm saying, let's talk about, like, what do you mean? So what does intuition feel like to you?
That's a really great question. So for me, it's like deep in my, deep in my chest space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not something in my head where I'm logically being guided by that. Like, it's not heady, but it's very heart-centered.
Yes, Christy.
Hearty. I like that.
It's not heady, it's hearty.
It's hearty. But
Yeah.
it's this feeling, and it's almost like the heart space is hollow, and then it's like you're being pulled. Like, that's the only way that I can describe
Christy. That's a perfect.
And you just have no reason, like, you have no idea why. Like, remember when Fred Flintstone would smell the smells and he would be off on his tippy toes?
Yes.
And he would just be guided? Like, that is the intuition. But
That's
you know what I
real.
mean?
I know exactly what you mean, but
Yeah.
I love how you describe, like, that heart feeling. There is something, man.
It just feels right. Like, there's just
And even
nothing
if something, and hear me when I say this, even when something feels wrong, but externally, but you can logic that it's right, but in your heart space it feels wrong. It's
not the
something.
same.
It's
It's not the
something
same.
else.
It's not the same.
It just.
And so this is an example. Like, my intuition. So when I moved to New York when I was 19, everything, it just did not make sense for me to move. It didn't. Like, I had no money saved up. I just had enough money to get on a plane. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't even know if I was going to get a scholarship where I was going to go. But I just had this feeling, this pull that I had to go. And it just felt right. Nothing else going against that just felt like I was doing myself a disservice. I was undermining my desire to live a more fulfilling life. It just didn't feel right.
So I wonder, Chris and Christy knows I say this a lot when I feel like I'm going against myself, or when I'm talking about when people go against this feeling that you have. It is you're committing treason against yourself.
Treason. That's the word I was looking for.
It's treason.
Yes.
So you are literally, so if you think of your avatar as your human self, which is hosting your spiritual self, which is your God self, we talk about like the divine self. Your divine self is, in so many words, commanding, like, hey, this is what we're doing. And you decide, no, that's not what we're doing. It's like, wait,
I thought we were on the same team.
I'm sorry.
Here.
Did the queen just speak? You're going to do your own thing. Do you? Is that, so you are literally committing treason against yourself. And here's the thing, we all do it and have done it.
Yeah.
And what happens is,
in various ways,
it gets to the point sometimes where you're just like, you know what? Okay, let me stop. Why am I self-imprisoning? I'm literally doing it to myself.
Right.
When we
have no one else to blame.
No one else. When we choose to, again, allow, okay? Nobody is tricking you, because nobody can trick you about you unless you allow them to do so. Right. Exactly. When we allow things, people and places, opportunities and situations to, what we say, make me. Like, you made me do that to make us, and I'm air quoting make us, make you
did that.
Go against yourself, your God self, with your intuition, with what your natural spiritual ability, your innate spiritual, dare I say, power. That's a choice that you are making to ignore you. And then you get mad at somebody else.
Treason, and then point the finger. Well, they made me, and they got me upset, but they didn't do. No, it's all about you, boo boo.
Exactly.
Because you chose to not follow your intuition.
But if we keep it funky, unfortunately, and you know what? I'm gonna retract that. I'm not even gonna say unfortunately. What I believe is the journey back to listening to yourself first and foremost is, I think that there's beauty in that, because like I said, when I said earlier, it's like I earned this, I worked for this, I went through steps and ups and downs and cycles. So now, for whatever reason, in this human experience, sometimes, and this isn't for everybody, but I can speak for myself. I feel like for a very long time in my life, I felt like if I didn't suffer, sacrifice, or work very hard for something, then I wasn't supposed to have it. So think about how that translates in love and relationship, and all type of relationships, how that translates in my relationship with money. Like, there wasn't this
That is so fascinating.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things. So if I didn't work for it, then that means but my brain was set up like that, whereas opposed to like where abundance is my birthright. I'm here, so that's what, period.
So, but for me, I never had the problem of like working for it, but for me it was getting to a point or place where I knew that I was deserving of it. Like, that's the part that I had a hard time with.
So here's the thing. I think it was also a deserving of it, or worthiness of it for me, but I had to prove the worthiness. And wait, here's to whom?
Right.
To whom with which am I proving this bullshit?
This bullshit is.
The bullshit does not exist. But when we get into our God self, our true self, our spiritual self, and understand that we're truly spiritual beings that are choosing to, and it's not even, and it's like, I almost like even saying like I deserve it, because to me, when I say deserve, and this is my own little thing, it takes me back to feeling like I have to earn that deserve. And this is like, it's because I am. Period. Because I'm breathing.
Because I woke up.
Period.
Because I'm here.
And that for me personally was a lot of work. And it is, you know what I mean? So now it's definitely
work for you.
Not as difficult. I can honestly say that there are moments where I'm acting in like the old program will try to come in, and
so how do you
divine self will be like, child, stop.
How do you counter that?
Because I have worked at it for so long now, there's something natural that kicks in and says we don't
I do not consent.
They're like error
Cancel,
program error and bring it on back.
That is so wow.
But I know that when it happens, I know that I'm stretching and growing. But I wouldn't even say taught myself. I would say I have been reminded. I have reminded myself. I am cognizant of how I feel. I mean, I literally, I hear myself say to myself, "How do you feel right now?" And sometimes there's nothing to necessarily say, and people may misinterpret when you are having conversation with yourself and you're around people, and they want you to respond in a certain way, and sometimes, and I can be honest, every once in a while, I can catch myself, someone's bringing heat and energy, and I can catch myself responding back, and I'm like, oh,
hold up.
What? I'm like, ooh, I just let you get me. Okay, no.
Oh, man, shame on me.
I'm like, ooh, Mia, come on, man. Like,
that
for real.
Like me earlier. I was like, ooh.
But keeping it funky sometimes. I don't know, it's so strange. Sometimes it's almost like self is like, it feels good. It tickles. Hey, because I know that in order to grow, there's a little bit of,
gotta have a little spark,
it's
fun,
a little
something.
Friction,
yep.
Chaos. I always go back to the butterfly illustration. If that butterfly, when it's in that cocoon, it's trying to break out. If somebody comes over and like, okay, sorry, the aerodynamics that is created in the wings in order for that butterfly to fly is created through them struggling and fighting to get out of that. So if I cut that out, the butterfly can come out, but it's going to be a grounded butterfly. Mm-hmm. Personally, I don't want to be a grounded butterfly. But I mean, hey.
I got places to see.
So now that I understand that, I see pain and chaos and it's more of an opportunity. And I'm only saying pain because I know I want people to understand what I mean. But when we are experiencing things that are not in alignment with what we want to experience, and we feel it, like there is a feeling that does not feel good. Yeah. But we can't rely on either someone else to make you feel good or make you feel better.
You can't make me in charge of that.
You cannot. Nobody can make you or break you unless you allow them to do so.
Yep.
I make or break me. And so there's a constant reminder of, I shouldn't even say constant, but there are times where I have to remind myself like,
just like
I almost just gave you my power.
Just like we were talking about this earlier, just how people want to talk into your life. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, I'm actually allowing what you're saying about me to affect me? Mm-hmm. How does that even make sense? Like now when I think about it, I'm just like,
how? Why?
It doesn't even make sense to me.
It doesn't. Because if we're really simplifying that, it's you're truly just handing somebody the keys to your life. Here you go.
Here,
I can play with you.
Right.
Like here. Like
you have the driver's seat.
Here you go. How do you want to play this? Yeah, Mama's not doing that one. I'm not doing the passenger. Give me my keys. You know what I mean? So I'm no longer in a position where I feel comfortable spiritually, physically, emotionally, or mentally being a passenger in my own life. And I am no longer concerned about how that makes anyone feel.
Too bad.
And you know what I mean? It's just
right.
It's.
And I think I've gotten bold with it too. I'm like, I wish a motherfucker would. Like, say something about me and what I'm doing. You're not paying
with me,
right?
For me, pour moi.
For me. I wish.
Okay.
I got time today. Look, let me see what time is it.
Wait, no, y'all. Christy has been. Let me tell you something. Christy has been. You know what? I kind of want to see how far I'll take this, because usually Christy just be like, whatever. Now she's like, and what?
You know,
I just want to feel. Now I'm curious.
It's like, now that you brought this up, I think I want to experience this about myself. Let me experience.
What? Y'all, and that actually is. It's actually kind of fun to explore the depths of which you're willing to go to see yourself.
Oh, so you decided that you wanted to fuck around
and find out. Well, call me Miss Find Out.
Well, let me show you.
You fucking around and you gonna find out today.
Oh my gosh, I'm enjoying that too. I'm like, ooh, let me see how this feels.
Serious, but y'all, for real, even that is so much, and that's even still a part of enjoying your life journey and self mastery, learning yourself. It's like, never done this one before. Let's just see.
Yeah, and then this
is actually, this thing on.
Well, and this ties into a point that I wanted to make too, is to give yourself permission to explore all aspects of yourself. Because I think sometimes we want to hold off those sides to ourselves. Well, I'm supposed to be this and I'm supposed to be this. No, allow yourself to explore all aspects of you, because when you close off those authentic parts of yourself, you don't allow yourself the full potential to tap into your abilities, your aptitudes.
So, yeah. You know, we've talked about duality and polarities. Even when you think about the masculine and feminine energy,
which only here exists.
Look, I'm like, now that could be another whole nother yes as to why that is here. But in order for one to exist, so does the other one, right? Mm-hmm. So when we talk about exploring every aspect of yourself, like Chrissy just said, authentically who you are. Even if you're saying, I'm choosing to walk in what people will call darkness, or I'm choosing to walk in what people will refer to lights. These are just labels, you guys. They mean absolutely nothing. Know that if dark exists in you, it's because the darker you are, the more light you are. The more light you are, the darker you are. They exist. So the point for you is to find a balance that works for how and who you need to be in this space and time in which you came here to experience. But whenever you try to cut off a part of yourself to fit into some BS or a definition or an identity that you did not create, but we've allowed ourselves to be, there's the fun part. You allow yourself to get
Can I tell you? So I'm you know this about me, and I'm not sure if I shared this on the podcast, but I've always stayed away from dark stuff. Like, I can't do that. I'm not going to explore that. I'm not going to do that. That's dark. That's deep. That's evil. But lately, I'm like, you know what? I'm about to I want to explore this side of me. Like, I'm really curious. Because I feel like this was a side of me that I've never allowed myself the freedom to explore. And it really makes a difference when you find out who you are in your entirety. Because if you're constantly just living on this one side, you're not allowing yourself to explore the fullness of who you are.
So oftentimes, you guys, you got to think about what we do in relationship. And I'm speaking of all type of relationship. Oftentimes, we explore ourselves through our relationships. So, because, our relationships are mirror, they're reflections of who we are. So sometimes we can depend too heavily on that mirror, that reflection to stretch us, to find out things about us. So what you're saying is talking about the curiosity of yourself within yourself. You know what I mean? So you don't necessarily need Chrissy's like, So it's not necessarily the reflection in what you're seeing reflected back to you in relationship. Do you know how freaking beautiful it is to have curiosity and be adventurous about you in your own life without an external power?
It is very empowering.
Look, I'm
it's very empowering, because then I feel like you also figure out where your barometer falls. It's not someone that's dictating where that needle falls.
Yes.
But you are figuring out, okay, this is where I want to be. This is what feels comfortable. This is my spiritual sweet spot. It is completely empowering. And I've never allowed myself that opportunity to do that until more recently.
You know how I think about, that carnival game where you have the big hammer.
Oh, yeah, the little moles.
Not the moles. It's like the strongman game.
Okay, I know what you're.
You hit the,
and it hits the
thing
bell
at the bottom and how high it goes.
Yeah.
So oftentimes in life we're walking through, and whoever is in front of you has that hammer in their hand, and however it is they hit that, you react and explore yourself through that way. Like, seriously. So now what we're talking about is nobody else gets that hammer. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to slam it. I'm going to step on it. I'm going to dance on it. I'm going to wonder if I don't do anything with it. And what happens? You know what I mean? So now you're in control of it. And yes, there will be so many different emotions and levels and places that you will go. But you're leading that.
Right. You are in full control.
You're in full control.
And
of
it is, like you were saying, it is so empowering. And then, man, when you give yourself the ability, it's like, you know what? I got time today.
I stay having time for me.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Speaking of let's do this, y'all. Okay, hold on. Pause. Can we talk about this Keke Palmer and what's the boy's name?
Darius.
Her
Jackson.
Yes, her boo. Okay, her boyfriend Darius. Okay, so real quick. If you have not heard about this,
at this point,
let me tell you something, because people are salt truck about this.
At this point,
long story short, Keke Palmer,
mommy now out. The baby.
First of all, can we give a pause for the cause?
Yes.
How fine Keke,
her body,
is bodying.
It is goals. Like, it is.
And you can tell she is like,
she's enjoying it.
Baby,
like, wait,
she's
where
all
has
in there.
this
She's
been all
like,
my
this
life?
is what's up. And that confidence, that beauty is off the charts. Okay. Keke recently had a child with this guy Darius.
Poor boy.
Beautiful,
Aww.
Beautiful son they had together. Very recently, maybe a couple of days ago. So when you guys hear this on Friday, this was 2-3 days ago?
Like recent, yeah.
Yeah, it recently happened. So she went to the Usher concert in Vegas, and everybody. I have not seen it.
I'm like, do I want to?
I initially was like, whatever, but I mean,
Now I
I've
think I
heard
want
so
to.
much about this concert. I do actually want to go, but anyway, Keke and all her fineness and all of her body and all of her grownness decided she had on this dress. It was a black sheer longer dress. In the front, it was like she had on like a bustier bodysuit underneath it. The girl, look, y'all, killing it.
And the booty cheeks were out.
In the back, the bodysuit, the bustier was a thong. So,
but it was a grown, sexy party. Like,
I'm just giving them. No, I'm just giving them what had happened was right. But anyway, she's at the Usher concert. She is, I'm assuming, probably very close to the stage. Whatever. Usher comes down. Keke stands up. He's He's serenading her. It's a dope little moment. You know what I mean?
It's cute.
It's super cute.
And innocent.
She dances with them.
She sings with them too.
They having a good time.
Yeah.
So, between time, her partner Darius apparently goes on to, was it Twitter?
Yeah.
And say,
idea.
but you're a mom though, or what was it, Christy?
He was talking about the outfit. He was like, your outfit. He was like, but you're a mom though.
Right. So now most people could dismiss that as like, he's just being funny or whatever. But then bruh doubled down. And, and he said, I meant what I said. He said, I have something to the effect of, I have morals and values, and as the man of my family, I don't want the wife and mom of my children to be like, whatever, people looking at her and, her body and, baby, the girls, the ladies,
everybody dragged him.
They gave him
for
they
filth.
gave him
For filth. Like, they ran this man out of social media country.
Wait, I'm laughing because as Christy and I were talking today when we setting up to do the podcast today, of course we're catching up on what's going on, and I think we both have something interesting, a different way or a perspective on this. Now, I'm going to say my perspective on this is going to sound crazy because the fact that I'm even having this conversation. Because honestly, I believe that's between Keke and Darius.
Agreed.
Now, wait a minute, hold on. Now, yes, did he put it out there
Yep.
for people to respond to? Yes, he did. And as of this evening so far, we have not heard Keke respond to anything except for it to say, I don't want to sound like that girl, but I love my man, or something to that effect. Which, hey, I'm with it. Now, so we're listening to some people's kind of response to this. And to me, what blows my mind is the sense of entitlement.
Right.
That people have. Now they're talking about, like, you just Keke's, nobody knows who you are. You're not a celebrity. You just Keke's.
You're a stay-at-home dad.
You know what I mean? Like, all these disparaging things.
We're on the same page with this one.
You know what I mean? Like, with all these disparaging things, it's like, that ain't your damn man. And then we were listening to some video, and one girl said, so, I did some research on who this dude is. Let me tell y'all something. Woo, child.
Too much time in the wrong places.
The fact that you feel it's necessary to do research on somebody else's man so that you can give an opinion about who and what it is and how Keke this and how he this and blah, 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 to me is very telling about how much external validation means in your life. Now, in that same token, that's why I said it feels weird till I'm even saying this, because, like, it's just, I shouldn't even be having a conversation about these people's relationship. However, we're going to keep it 1,000 around this piece. This man went on a platform that spoke to everyone and shared his view about what he thought about what his woman's outfit and what she was doing, how he felt it was inappropriate. So now you, sir, have invited that energy into your space. Now, mind you, he's allowed to feel how he feels. Keke's allowed to feel how he feels. And that could have been a conversation they had between themselves. But now that you have invited people into this space, he brought that up upon himself. But my question is, they on it. But the people who took that invitation and said, oh, yeah, we in it. Come on, give us.
Knuckles cracking like,
ooh, let's do this. So I always ask the question, we talk about intention. So I'm going to ask Christy this question. For the people who have taken the invitation, real talk, because it's juicy. What do you think their intention is towards? Because it's coming off like the in protection of Keke, but let's keep it funky. What do you really think the intention is of the people who are taking the time to go into this man's history? They're bringing up his ex-girlfriend. There's things like I had.
Oh my gosh, like there are so many levels to that.
Deep in this, but what's your intention? What is your purpose for that? Do you think that Keke's going to read watch your video, read your, and change her mind about her. I was about to say her motherfucking name. So, what do you think that energy towards that? What's the attention behind that, and what does that do for the person that's spending that much time doing that? In your opinion?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think that it is the need for validation. That's just my opinion. But I also feel like it can be a variety of things. For some women, it can be a matter of fact that, you know, maybe they don't want to have anyone telling them who. I mean, I feel like it can be transference. It can be a lot of things. But I do feel like some of it is for people to feel some sort of validation, because a lot of you guys out there don't mind your own business.
I mean, well, you know, a lot of people don't. But again, we have so many systems set up so that
everyone
we
has
can't,
the sense of
so that
being
we
entitled.
can't, exactly, so that we can't mind our own business. So we have so many options outside of our own business.
Distractions.
Now, mind you,
Yeah.
you know, Earth is a lot of what we do is relational. We're not here by ourselves. So the growth, the stretch, the evolution, the expansion, it does have a lot to do with how you are bouncing off other energies in your space.
Yeah. It could also be like, I don't have a man and you have a man and I'm upset with it, and so I'm going to share my opinion in the hopes that it's going to tear things apart. I mean, there are several, like, I feel like there are so many different paths that people can be taken as far as their intention goes.
So I wonder,
What do you think?
I think that real, if I'm going to keep it real, I think that people's opinion about that relationship says more about them than it does about Keke and Darius's relationship.
Facts.
Because that's from your perspective.
Yeah.
So if you are highly offended, like, how dare he, that may be because you've been in
Where's your man?
like, right. No, you may have been in a situation currently, or have been, where you felt like someone tried to quiet you or give, you know, how dare you tell me how I'm supposed to feel or think. I mean, and it, truth be told, I completely understand that. The thing that's blowing my mind is the one person who is who is supposed to be offended has not said nothing except for, I love my man. But everyone has taken on this fight against, what do they call it? Mother shaming?
Yeah, motherhood
like, there's
shaming.
all of these.
To start some shit.
But I mean, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but my point is,
It's their business.
the one,
It's their, I mean, and at the end of the day, that's how I feel. Like, this is not my relationship.
and again, I have
He
to
put it
keep
out there.
right.
He did put it
That's
out there.
That's the
So
part. So let's talk about that.
So he did
that
open.
part.
He did
Okay.
open himself
No,
up.
what
to
was
receive
his
the
intention?
comments. See, you know what
I gotta play both sides.
You know what my side was. So I thought that for him, it was. I thought it was about the dress, but as you said it, and as I was hearing it, it was more about feeling the sense of like, oh, Usher serenading you, huh? You're out there looking cute. Oh, okay.
I feel sorry for dude because I feel like he had a moment of insecurity. I don't know this man. Maybe he's always insecure, but I don't know them. All we know is this moment. I know absolutely nothing. I didn't know his name.
You know they pulled tweets like from like years ago.
Yeah,
talking about,
I don't have that
this
much
is how
space.
insecure he is. Like they went to his old tweets.
I didn't know this man's name until
And
today.
that's another thing that people were saying. They were like, why are you getting upset about this woman who's making more money than you, giving you the lifestyle that you have, giving you a baby?
Okay, where's all that energy coming from? Y'all have no idea. This man could have won the lottery. He could have
from
inheritance. He could be he could own high percentages or stocks in all type of companies. You literally never know. He could have owned stocks in Google before they had their IPO. Who freaking knows? So there's an assumption that is happening. But outside of the people who are talking about things outside their business, because this is an issue, it also makes me wonder, okay, what was his intention? And I do feel like this gentleman had a moment of it would looks like insecurity, but why would he have an insecurity? You just had a whole woman with this woman, a whole child with this woman. She very clearly has absolutely no problem expressing that this is, her guy and they're in a relationship or whatever. So what was he looking for in coming out and saying that? Especially because this is, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like, how some people, like, I talk about relationships. I share this, some people, this is like their kind of like their platform.
No, this is not his platform.
So he basically.
But can I share something?
Yes, please.
So his net worth is $1 million.
According to the internet,
Keke's net worth is 10. So some
okay, so
people
she's 10 times more.
So
but he's not broke though, sis.
No, he's not. But some people are like, well, she's the breadwinner, so you have some issues because of that. Okay. Like it is a masculine thing because you're not the breadwinner. You're the one that's staying home.
If he had a problem with that, he wouldn't be with her. Instead of being with somebody who's 10 times more than him, he would be with someone who's 10 times less than him. If you're worth $1 million, then be with someone who's worth 100,000. I mean, like I'm just saying if that's what the issue is. So we and again, we do not know because
right. It's not our relationship.
It's not our relationship. However, when we talk about being intentional with your relationship. So at that space and time, remember guys, we're talking about your spiritual abilities, these natural spiritual
aptitude.
Your natural spiritual aptitude. So what happens in this time and space when something like this happens? Could that man have tapped into his own spiritual aptitude and like, no, I'm being dead ass serious.
Now's not a good time. Maybe I should just wait until she gets home.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, and just take a moment. But again, we don't know if Keke has ever done anything that he's allowed to make himself feel insecure about, or something has happened. And this could have been the last straw. He could have just had a moment. But
she could be beating him. No, I'm joking.
Right, we don't. You
Yeah.
really have no idea. Keke be at home telling him, "That's why I'll make my money with your broke ass."
Watch the baby.
But in being intentional with their relationship, and from the little bit that I have learned today, because again, I didn't know that much except for Keke had a baby and she out here fine. Like, oh my God.
Wait.
But it seems like they have been in a relationship for quite, it didn't just happen 10 months ago or whenever so it seems like at that point they were intentional with their relationship. It seems like it was quiet. It's them two doing their thing. Keke got to do blah, blah, blah. They're doing their thing. And something happened where he allowed, because clearly they know how to keep their mouth shut in their relationship between themselves, because didn't nobody know nothing about them until they did. Mm-hmm. So he allowed something to kick off for him to speak out, and then he doubles down on it, and now you have the world against you. So some people might say he wanted the attention because Keke was getting attention and he got it.
Well, there are some people, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
Attention.
It's attention.
Energy is energy. So
say that again.
Energy is energy. So when like I said, we talked about this at the beginning of this. In order for darkness to exist, there has to be light. So we're looking at it, it's bad energy. It's energy. All eyes on me. So there's something there from his own intention that and I feel bad for a guy for a little bit. Honestly, I do, because like basically you asked for it, and it's coming your way. I feel bad for him because it doesn't see. And again, I don't even know, dude. And a little bit.
But you put that stuff out there. Like, you literally typed it out with your fingers.
Did. You're right.
You have to, when you type shit out, you wait. You don't just send it right away. You let it sit in drafts.
Look, I'm like, you know what, Christy, you're right.
But then he's young too. Like, I feel like we were talking about the difference in generations earlier. We were taught when something, like, you can't just react off of emotions. You got to wait until you cool down. It's like, let me read this email again, or let me read this tweet one more time before I send it.
So now y'all going to be mad at Keke if she stay with dude? Not that it matters what y'all think.
That's
I'm
her
just,
relationship, and honestly, we don't know like what type of arrangements they've made behind closed doors.
Yep.
So I mean, that's none of my business. If she's happy, I like her.
Oh,
I really like her.
And I mean, I enjoy whenever I see Keke. She does these videos. She's naturally entertaining. She's funny as hell. So I enjoy seeing her win. Yeah. Actually, I enjoy seeing everybody win.
Yeah.
So there's this. It's a big deal. It's a conversation, and what I want us, this audience, our tribe, to think about when we are judging other relationships and people that have absolutely nothing to do with that. We just need to be very cognizant. What are we allowing that to do to our own energy? Yeah. Dude invited that energy in. However, from the side of the person who is judging or not judging or whatever it is, I just want you to think about the vibration that you're allowing yourself to go. And now you pissed. You digging up dude's history. Do you know how much energy and space? Now you change your whole vibration off of a man's tweet that ain't even your damn man. That's the part I want us to understand. So when we say mind your energy, understand your own intuition. Can you watch that and be a part of that and not let it affect you? But when you start to put energy, action, and behavior and intention behind something because of something someone said or did that has absolutely nothing to do with you or your life, you are shifting your own energy. You are acting outside of yourself. You are doing something for some external validation that would not change your life except for take you off track on something else. Right. That's what I'm talking. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want us to be mindful. Like, damn, this is a thing. That's why I say it's weird for me to even talk about it because I'm saying that and then I'm talking about it. But I think it's an excellent opportunity. Well, we're using this as an example. It's an excellent opportunity to talk about how you can shift you can be in a dope relationship. Happy is, I'm jamming, we good, but then you allow this to upset you to the point where now you digging into this man's tweets from years ago.
It makes no sense to me.
You just shifted your whole energy.
But one thing that I can definitely say is I've really enjoyed watching Keke come into herself. That's been really cool to see her mature and grow and evolve into who she is.
Getting her flowers.
Right. But on the other side of things, because again, she may decide to continue. I mean, even though they said that they are not following each other anymore, she may decide to stay in that relationship, which is that's her business, none of mine. But for those people who feel like they're in situations where they know that they've been listening to their intuition, but they've been choosing to stay, you have to learn to love from afar and allow yourself to give thanks to choosing you.
Yep.
Instead of remaining in a situation that is leaving you or putting you in a space where you are extremely unhappy. I've done that. I've been there. And it's whew.
Speak on it.
And there's something to be said when you get to a point where you realize I am not fucking happy anymore. And I'm tired of not being happy, and I'm no longer choosing to live a life based on other people's expectations, but based off of my own happiness. That's commendable. That is just that's life-changing.
Because like I said, I really do like seeing Keke win.
Yeah.
I hope that she allows herself to continue to win in whatever way works for her, and nothing. And I was about to say it, and having nothing to do with everybody thinks or not thinks that she should do. And based on, again, I do not know this woman. However, based on what she has shown, it seems like she's going to do her thing her way anyway. And what I hope the takeaway is from that and this conversation that we're having is, regardless of what is happening outside of yourself, even if it's directed towards you, you still have to make the decision that's right for you.
Yep.
And the best decision is when you trust
right
your own spiritual aptitude. When you can feel like that hearty, not heady space.
Yes.
Anything outside of you, if you are using that as a barometer to make a decision about what you do in your life, you're setting yourself up for continually being judged, validated, etc., by something outside of you, when the real, true God message and love is from you. That was my take.
Say that.
That part.
Well, I'm going to second to what she said, because after that, she just gave an entire sermon right there. So I'm just going to say what she said. That part.
So that was, thank you
That's
guys.
true.
That's what's up though, for real.
Yeah. Do you have a message for the day?
No, I'm
Or
gonna
card
look.
pull?
I'm like, look. The whole thing was a message. We gonna keep it pimping.
Okay. I do have a quick crystal, though.
Oh yes.
Since we are talking about
wait.
intuition. Oh,
Don't forget to follow us at Wings. I mean, at what's Two Queens Crystal Things. We want
All
to know
of that.
No, for real, guys. Cause I want to know what you guys feel about not allowing external things to make this to be a factor in your decision making about what you should do in your life. And since this is such a big topic, it's just a great opportunity right now to use this as an example. Okay. So follow us. We want to talk to you guys. Two Queens Crystal Things. Okay, go ahead.
yes. No, thank you. And thank you for those who have been speaking with us. Oh, and we need to actually share
Oh yes.
that a couple things that we should share. One, we've reached over 100,000 downloads.
Whoop whoop.
That's huge. No, that's huge.
No, for real. We
And
appreciate
we
it.
truly appreciate it.
I'm having a great time.
We really are.
The growth of the audience and you guys sharing and growing and the tribe growing is an added bonus and benefit it's almost like I feel like you guys are co-creating this
Oh, absolutely.
space with us.
They are.
So please continue to share, and let us know how you feel, and hey, agree, disagree, it's all good. It's all good, because this is a safe space for people to explore themselves. And we hope that's what you guys are getting from it. So thank you for sharing this along.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, if you all are local in Chicago, July 31st, we're having another sound bath. This is for the full moon. Hosted by LaSalle Hotel. We're also working with Dream Market again. But if you all, if you are in Chicago, we want to have you to come out for this event. And
We're going to post it on our IG page, Two Queens Crystal Things, and tell them, Christy.
yes. So, I want to make this fun.
Yes.
Because the following that we have on IG does not mirror the following we have on the podcast. And I think that also we have to be more engaging on our page, which we're working on, you guys. But I would like to say, tag some people on the post to help us grow the page. And let's say how many additional co-creators?
3. I like 3.
3?
5.
5?
Okay.
That's like... Okay.
You look, I'm like, well, you tell me.
10 new followers. The 10th follower, if you are local to Chicago. Okay, so you
I
have
thought
to...
you were saying something else. I'm sorry.
what am I saying?
No.
Oh.
Continue. I was
Okay.
messing up. I thought you were saying whoever tags this many people will put you in the raffle.
Oh.
So, finish
So
saying
you
what you
want
were
to do that? Tag 3 people?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So we're asking everyone. So this is for the people who are local to Chicago, because those who are not in Chicago, we do not want you to feel some kind of way. This is for the Chicagoans. If you are in Chicago, go to our Instagram page, tag 3 people who may not even be following our podcast. And what we're going to do is maybe we'll do like a raffle pull like a week before. And we'll pull someone we'll look at the tags, the hashtags, but we'll pull someone from the...
Who tagged people?
Yes, from the tag people.
Tag 3 people. We'll put your name in a raffle.
Yes. And then we'll pull your name, and that person who is based here in Chicago, you will be our special guest for the full moon sound bath. And we'll like come up with some nice thing that we'll do together.
Yeah, we'll do the sound bath and have a little fun.
Yes.
Okay. We'll think of something. We're coming up with this as we're going along. So
Yes.
this will be fun.
This will be fun. But yeah, so we'll make it a good time. So we're gonna post it. We'll make sure to post the instructions a little bit more clear, and all the fireworks. So okay. So that is something that's happening. So let me quickly give you the crystal of the week while these fireworks are going off, because it's only 11 o'clock at night. Okay, so crystal of the week is shaman stone. The element is earth. It's good for all the chakras. And shaman stone is actually a really powerful earth element, and it helps you to facilitate deep journeys into the realm of nature. And so these particular crystals are really protective allies for those for your psychic senses and for your physical body while in the journey of discovering or exploring other realms and dimensions. And so this particular crystal helps to purvey stray energies, those energies that don't belong to you, or those entities that don't belong to you, from attaching to your physical or energetic body. And so working with these stones will allow you to pursue your path without limitations. So I think this is a really great crystal. I've heard about it. Haven't gotten it. Do you have shaman stone?
I actually don't have a shaman stone.
No, I've heard about this stone, but it's definitely something that you might want to get, especially if you are working on trusting your spiritual aptitudes. So that's all I got.
That.
Yes.
All right, you guys. You
Thank
know what
you.
to do.
Yes, thank you for listening to Two Queens. You all, if you are listening to the podcast on the Apple platform, please make sure to leave a review. We are not even in the chart for Apple, and at one point we were like rated, but I think we need to get back on the Apple charts.
Okay,
Why
I
not?
agree.
Yes,
Help us out.
help us. So why not follow us? Make sure to follow us. Not why not. Follow us on our personal pages, Wings Unleashed 444, and then me on IG, Christy R. Edwards. And thank you. Light,
All right. Peace.
peace, love.
And so, till next week, guys.